Live. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. People, there is news in crypto, some of which has been made public. And then, I can tell you stories from the past about it, but you are not going to want to go anywhere for that. Also, I've got tips on how short Wall Street is in stocks, which is funny because I gave a presentation this morning about how scared I was about stocks. It's funny. News about interest rates. There's an NFT news other than Tobie Ward's fine art collection. All right. And then, of course, if you need a roadmap in crypto, you should subscribe to this channel and you should help us out on Unhinged Crypto, where we are 2 followers away from 200. And of course, you should liberally hit the like button for this stream and any of our videos. We definitely appreciate everybody who's here. Let's welcome people. So we have Reverend Flashback is here. Great to see you, sir. Great to see you. Wrong Again in the house. JB, Andre, John, Alan, Don't Ask 6 from Oklahoma, Bavid, JP Stanley, Bull Runner, Seth, what's up? What's up? Megan is here. Welcome. Sleepy Guy, Rave Song Records, Laughing Dolphin, Richard Berry from Georgia, Mark, Travis, Jeff, Pancakes and Peanut Butter with the pedal to the metal. All right. Let's start off with something simple and important and near and dear to my heart. Okay, so I'm going to give you some NFT news about JPEG guys and generative NFTs with roadmaps. The good news is this is fine art done by Tobie. There's bulls make money, bears make money, and the pigs are coming soon, along with one of one fine art colored pieces. Please check that out. And I will give you a good reason to do that. That's market related later on. All right. Now I'm going to jump straight into the news. All right. Let's see what we got here. News. Okay. Again, on Unhinged Crypto, 2 subscribers away from 200. Last night was a crypto sound healing, so grab your earbuds and relax if you need to this holiday weekend. An altcoin happy hour where we covered a whole bunch of different altcoins. So it's like altcoin overtime. Check out the videos. Oh my God. Then there's this, as they say. So let me just read this out loud. Yesterday, BJ Investment Holdings, the parent company of Hit Network, took decisive legal action in removing Ben Armstrong from the company. So Bitboy has apparently left his own company, and specifically the Bitboy Crypto brand. Now, this is a difficult decision, is a culmination of a prolonged effort to help Ben during his relapse into substance abuse, as well as, this is the key part, as well as reconcile the emotional, physical, and financial damage he has done to the employees of Hit Network. Notice that they're talking about physical damage. More on that in a minute. The Bit Squad deserves better, and we are going to get through this together. We wish him the best and regret, and we're hopeful for the future of Bitboy Crypto. Okay, so the physical part, apparently something happened. They announced that on the show again this morning. As you can see, this whole Bitboy, this whole Twitter page with the 1 million followers has all been redone. I used to do work with the guy from BitLab on Fridays. Now, when it comes to the physical stuff, a long time ago, a lot of people don't know this guy's story, right? He got in trouble with the law. I heard his story in person at a dinner. He's told it on the air, where he, was so out of his mind. He was driving his car around trying to end his own life. He wound up in a fight, breaking people's arms. I think he broke a cop's arm, right? This guy's a big dude. And I think as a result of that, you know, he wound up in a facility that was so strict, they wouldn't let him watch the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was like no TV. That's how strict the treatment program was. And then we wake up one day and, you know, we find this. So I don't know how long this has been going on. First thing I thought of when they announced this was, what would make a guy this successful with young kids go back to something dark? Because I'm not a big believer in coincidences. And of course, I don't know. But they went after Richard Hart, and there was news that he was moving this whole operation somewhere in the Middle East. And, you know, the SEC's latest final tactic is to go after people that they deemed unlikable. Whether BitBoy is unlikable with 1 million followers is not clear, but something upset this guy. I mean, I guess people rise, people fall. Sure, there'll be a Ben Armstrong comeback one day, right? But I've been inside of his operation. I've told on the stream multiple times that, you know, I watched in person the entire live stream in the hallway of the studio, like this little room, stood in the hallway, and I watched the live stream where he got 1 million followers, right? I saw this whole operation, which now I think is even bigger, right? Like BitBoy YouTube is on the side of a building somewhere in suburban Georgia, and now it has come to this. Now, what does this mean for crypto, right? I mean, if they're going after this guy, in theory, Gensler's getting personal. So let's just pretend for a moment. I mean, if Ben is sick, then we wish him a speedy recovery. If somebody got hurt in the process, we wish them a speedy recovery. But if Gensler's coming after, like, you know, first he went after coins, then he went after exchanges, then he's going to start going after people. That's scary if that's what's really happening. Okay. You know, I want to be big and famous one day. Okay. I'd like to be well off financially and then big and famous, but sometimes being big and famous can be a price. Okay. Wrong again thinks I got nothing to worry about, that I'm likable, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Johnny K, not a fan. Not a fan of the guy that got in trouble here. Right? FD White is in the house. I mean, people, there's also a lesson in here, right? Is that, you know, I think, and I gotta remind myself too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have my moments, believe me. You got to remember to be grateful, right? Even when you're at the top. And, you know, if you stay grateful, then maybe you can stay out of trouble. I know Kelly, who I work with from BitLab, you know, this guy was in a terrible accident, had to have 75 operations. The guy's, you know, lucky and happy to be around. And who knows, he may be the guy that takes over. Seriously, he may be the guy that takes over. So just a reminder, on a personal level. Okay, now let's get to this. U.S. SEC charged today a Los Angeles-based company, right, Impact Theory, with an unregistered offering securities in the form of NFTs. Impact Theory agreed to pay $6 million in fine, as well as return the money to investors and destroy the NFTs. Guess that means anybody that had a roadmap that promised investors all kinds of stuff in the future is now in the desperate crosshairs of the SEC. That's one of the reasons why we are in the fine art game. The only thing that you get with our NFTs other than art is we're going to have a gateway for you to talk to Tobie about everything from the mystical to the art world, and maybe even some stuff on how to use AI. Who knows? But, you know, stick with art because art and stocks are not correlated, as you've heard from me. Now, let's talk about why you should be invested in crypto. Below is a chart of U.S. money supply. Since 2020, the U.S. has printed 80% of all dollars in circulation. To put that in perspective, at the start of 20, we had $4 trillion in circulation. Now there is $19 trillion in circulation, a 375% jump in 3 years. We are paying the price for trillions of dollars that were printed seemingly overnight. M2 money supply. You know, people are always like, oh my God, M2 is rolling over. Yeah, well, it's got a lot of rolling over to do. So this is why you're in crypto. This is why you stay in crypto. Okay. I mean, if they can print money like this in a very concentrated period of time, at some point that erodes the power of the currency. Okay, now let's talk about the power of the currency. Let's talk about how bearish people are and why I may be wrong about stocks and right about crypto. Okay, wrong about stocks and right about crypto. And says you are big and famous. Appreciate that, sir. Okay, now we got Hang Seng here, HSI. This is the ETF in the United States that follows the Hang Seng Index. That's the stock index following Hong Kong companies. Last night, the Chinese did some sort of stunt where they officially admitted they were scared about people selling equities, and they effectively cut taxes on stock trading and asked funds to not sell. Okay, Hang Seng gapped up. Chinese stocks gapped up 5%, and their close was meh. Okay, meanwhile, okay, S&P just kind of continues higher with VIX down 11% with the holiday coming up. So one angle is nobody cares about what happens in China, their internal problems with their stock market. They're going to have their own little 1929 over there, and that doesn't matter for us. That's one thinking. The other thinking is, you know, what happens over there does have a ripple effect, but maybe people are already super short. So if the problem in China can't manifest itself in lower stock prices, maybe it resolves itself in terms of higher crypto prices, right? In other words, if the integrity of the currency is in question, Hong Kong officially launches its first Bitcoin spot trading platform. That was over the weekend. So panicking, government's panicking, and they're letting everybody do crypto. And you know what? Even though communists love control, they may have decided to allow people access to crypto to avoid social disorder. Because if you have bank failures or you have investment firm failures over there, yeah, they may be eventually able to backstop it, but I'm not aware of an FDIC over there. So people may lose access to their money. And they're probably letting government officials and people get involved in crypto. Okay. Now, if you need another reason to get involved in crypto, and I'm taking some serious risk showing this, I'm not going to read all of it. Okay. But frequently I've talked about social disorder, right? I've talked about the United States as ungovernable. Saw a video this morning of what migrants bust from Florida and Texas, what that looks like because they're being sent to New York City. So this guy, Victor David Hansen, says we're in the middle of a cultural revolution. This is in case you feel like getting shaken out of your crypto shorts, your crypto longs, excuse me. Saying that, you know, it's just men and women out there can get you fired. Men are competing in women's sports. Month-long elections are 70% mail-in ballots. Certain people can cause damage in cities up to $2 billion, not get punished. Law enforcement agencies can take political views about who they like, who they don't like. You know, if a politician does something that they don't like, they ignore it. If a politician that they like does something wrong, or there's a laptop that gets brushed aside and is called some sort of propaganda from a foreign government. Okay. A decade ago, nobody would believe any of this would be possible. Nobody. And 10, 20, 30 years. Even if you go back to 60s and 70s when people were really down on America, I don't think anybody could have thought about this. Yet it's all happening as we live through a nation-destroying cultural revolution. Those who see these truths must act. Okay, well, you know what? You can denounce all you want, or you can participate in the crypto revolution by pushing the green button and trying to get involved and hodl. That is what I say. That is what I say. Now, let's go over to PowerPoint before we go back to the news. Because there's like, you know, it's like the two charts that matter this week almost, right? Okay. So when it comes to PowerPoint, this is what we got to talk about. So don't forget about altcoin overtime on Fridays. Okay. That's a fruity drink and some entertainment, infotainment on altcoins. Now, more seriously, this comes from Dim It on Twitter, who is the tied for the smartest person that I know. This past weekend witnessed the weekly short selling, right? According to Goldman Sachs, the deepest, right? The deepest buying of puts versus calls seen since COVID. So equity panic premiums are in place. So to me, this means people are getting ready for equities to panic because everybody knows that the China blow up is bad. And maybe it's now not news that the China blow up is worse than expected. So people are positioned for that, which is interesting, right? Because everybody probably now knows what I've been saying, that most big tops in the stock market like 29 and 87 occur right at Labor Day. So I'm not saying stocks couldn't go down, but I am saying people are ready for it. And obviously, when everybody did this last time, this number and the market went straight up. Call buying, you know, increased. So I've said this. What happens if whatever negative thing out there is not reflected in stocks, bonds, and gold? What happens? Well, it's got to be reflected somewhere. You know, it's just like, oh, well, look, half the world just blew up. Gee, what are we going to do? Nothing? Ignore it? No, that's not how capital markets work. They got to get in crypto. Now, again, one of the reasons this comes from, you know, Game of Trades, the 10-year Treasury real yield, a proxy for financial conditions, according to this group. Okay, so real yields, that's the actual yield on the 10-year government bond minus, okay, like say the Fed funds rate. The real interest rate is as high as it has been since the days of 20% interest rates back in the 80s. So this is why people are short. This is why you can have social disorder. This is why equities should go down, but we'll talk about Goldman Sachs and what they think about equities in a minute. Again, let them argue back and forth in equities. Let it go back. I mean, let it not blow up. I mean, seriously, the eclipse is coming. A full moon is in 2 days. Right? That's a serious full moon. The moon will never be closer to the earth as it is on the 30th. You can expect heightened emotional behavior, so don't get in a fight with your significant other. Heightened emotions, crazy stuff. It can happen. And crypto does a lot of wild things on every U.S. holiday, which is 1 week from today. So could crypto go down? Could there be a problem in China? Yeah. But you know what? If it doesn't affect stocks, it may be crypto up. Just a thought, right? If you have social disorder in America and complete chaos in the Chinese financial system, I'm just interested as to how that impacts crypto. And don't forget about the failed rally in Hang Seng. So I don't know if there's a hard and fast conclusion there, but the hard and fast conclusion that I would draw is that it's just as likely for crypto to melt up and decouple, because it's not really a decouple. It's like if stuff doesn't go anywhere and there's trouble, you know, maybe crypto can move. Maybe people say, oh my God, I've lost confidence in such and such currency. Now, Goldman is saying long-term AI trade reaching far beyond Nvidia. Median stock in index could see EPS grow 72% from the baseline, meaning earnings could go way higher as a result of Nvidia. So this is typical of investment banks and Goldman in their research, in that they want to be out of consensus. Researchers are incentivized to have a view that's different from everyone else's view. So if everyone is bearish stocks, Goldman would come out, and if they have a case, which of course they do because they're not stupid, and they would come out and say, hey, you know what? This is going much higher. And I'm like, you know what? Great. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the only place to put money is U.S. stocks, crypto has got to follow. Got to follow. And, you know, I mean, the downside is if no one can stop the stock market, then the Fed might have to go ballistic. And the other thing I thought of, which is not crypto friendly, is that if stocks continue to go up, bonds and interest rates may go a lot higher. And that's Thanos, the U.S. long bond. So while I hold out hope that any problem trade gets reflected in crypto, you do have to watch out for higher interest rates. I also think Jerome Powell and this idea of more rate hikes is crazy. He hikes rates, and that breaks the Chinese system. That's grounds for war. He's got to double talk his way into some sort of a pause. Because if he hiked rates and an American bank blew up, what happens if he hikes rates and a Chinese bank blows up? Okay, so SEC at it again. Okay, probes a major lender over mortgage-backed securities. Okay, just so you know, this is what the SEC is supposed to do. Okay. The next wave of scams will be deep fake video calls from your boss. AI-based hacks are on the verge of breaking out. Convenient. Everybody will have to have a retina scan now, right? In other words, this is the beginning of them taking people's freedom away. Banks need more capital, not a new rule book. A recent proposal from regulators trying to micromanage risk at banks. So let me get this straight. They can't manage interest rate risk in the private sector, so the government's going to come in and manage interest rate risk for you. As Ronald Reagan said, one of the most dangerous sentences in human history is, "Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Ridiculous. Banks probably just need to have more capital on hand in case something stupid happens or they can't manage their own risk. Okay. Nvidia market reaction shows U.S. rally is over, Morgan Stanley's Wilson says. So, of course, if Goldman is mega bullish, or if the Morgan Stanley guy is mega bearish, Goldman will be mega bullish, right? And this guy's been mega bearish all year and wrong, which is painful. So, you know, if you're going to get 1929 or 1987, you're going to know soon. You're going to know after Labor Day, because you got planetary movements coming up and you got an eclipse in October. And one thing I can tell you about an eclipse is that price action starts in like a month and a half before it happens, right? Yeah, remember the Bitcoin rally earlier this year? Yeah, that was in front of the April eclipse, right? Straight up. Like, capital markets will do crazy things. Crazy. So Morgan Stanley bets down, Goldman bets up. I got a great idea. How about we bet nowhere? Stocks, bonds can't reflect reality. Crypto has to reflect reality. It's not ridiculous. Now, that could mean crypto could go down, but, you know, I will stay positive. China's worsening economic slowdown is rippling across the globe. This is going to be the next thing that you start hearing about. It's called China exporting deflation, right? In other words, everyone's worried about inflation. It's time to start worrying about deflation. Chinese economy has been growing anywhere from 6 to 10% for the last 15 years. Their GDP growth goes negative. You're going to have, you're going to have moderating economic activity. And if you have a 2008 or 1929 style event over there, that speaks for itself. And of course, I love this because, these are all the guys at summits doing photo ops, going, we're getting rid of the dollar. If anything, these guys are a complete pain in the ass because whatever is going over there is keeping the dollar bid. Dollar index should be at 94 and it's at 104. And as much as I hate the dollar, you know what? I don't blame anybody in Asia for buying the dollar. They may be looking at what's going on over there in China and going, oh my God. Now, of course, again, if the thing in China results in maybe a foreign exchange event, maybe gold moons, maybe silver moons. You check that silver price action lately, right? In other words, gee, are Chinese investors, like how did silver do this move? If we're looking at an 89-minute chart. This is a serious ass moon here. And then all they've done is just do a sideways consolidation. You know, ETH follows silver and grains statistically. And if oil doesn't moon, that favors Bitcoin as well. Like what happens if ETH starts acting like this? What happens if there are these flash dips and that's BlackRock out there hoovering up your crypto, just like they're hoovering up single family homes. Okay. So former president of the United States gets a mugshot and the case is set for September 6th. Just a reminder, they may persecute this guy and they may want him running for office because maybe they think he's the only one that the current powers that be can beat. Because they certainly don't want to run against, you know, the guy whose family has a rich political history. They don't want to run against that guy from what I've seen on television. And I'm sorry. Taking the former president of the United States into a county jail and taking his mugshot. That's disrespectful. You can book the guy in a private room. It doesn't have to be a show. Traders have S&P 500 comebacks fading at a historic pace. Okay, so we're on track for the first month since 2002, in some cases with no back-to-back gains. Again, the media is bearish stocks. There's reason to be bearish stocks. I was mega bearish stocks this morning until I saw everybody was probably already short. So sometimes declines don't happen when everybody's short. Sometimes declines happen after they bore everyone out of their trades. In the meantime, I'm not in the mood to sell crypto to BlackRock. I'm just not in that kind of mood. Bear market much worse than expected. Okay. Analysts pitch new Bitcoin economy framework. Okay. So co-author of Glassnode saying the bear market is much worse than we thought. Oh my God. Oh, look at this. Look at this. See, remember I tell you about the media? You know, like, oh, the media is bearish stocks. Oh, God. Oh, God, the media is bearish Bitcoin. I mean, this alone could live forever. Like, you wake up next Monday morning and there's a problem and all of Asia is market buying Bitcoin and there's no Bitcoin liquidity on exchanges. Again, you know, maybe that's a poster. You know, maybe Tobie needs to do an NFT of this. And, you know, that's as a reminder, you know, this broadcast is brought to you by Tobie_Ward on OpenSea. Give me some love, people. Give me some love. USDC market cap plummets to a 2-year low. Why? No one's interested in crypto. Excellent. No one's interested in crypto at the moment where China, you know, the biggest economy in the world, is about to blow up. Excellent. Satoshi Nakamoto is laughing. Okay, let's see. South Korean crypto exchange must set aside $2.3 million in reserves starting in September. Good. Good. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep the crypto exchanges running. Oh, so sorry to hear about this. Friend.tech revenue plummeted 90% as social app hype cools. Damn. I really like this whole idea of like buying and selling your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to do well on YouTube? You know, can it be who has the most followers or who has the highest like Friend.tech stock Okay. PayPal stablecoin faces low demand. Yeah, for the moment. For the moment. Let me see if I got what I got here for my understanding is that Musk may be coming out with a big announcement regarding this stable coin. Now, just a brief word. Europe's water crisis, drought, leaky pipes, and poor policy. You know, I work for a bunch of guys called Emerging Asset Group, and we're into gold and water. And let me tell you something. You know, we started fast out of the gate, and we have lived through winter. And guess what? We're going to come out swinging. We're going to come out swinging on water. Because you know what? If the whole world blows up, there's two assets that are interesting to me: crypto and water. And if it's not crypto, it's water. Because that's what Michael Burry invested in 2008. Stay tuned for further developments. Okay. UK equity market in a very sorry state. Okay. Jupiter Asset Management, he is packing it in after 40 years. Just as a reminder, capital markets sometimes can reflect reality, and poor policy can really be discouraging. The policies that are happening now, like anybody who studied economics or this guy who was an investor for a long, long time is probably looking at the capital markets in the UK and he's like, these are not the markets that I remember. They're not. Okay. Markets are not signaling doom and gloom for China's economy. That's interesting. Then why are the Chinese lowering stamp tax duties on equities? I don't know. Maybe the Chinese want to keep the rumors going that something is wrong. I don't know. But I'm going to trust one of the smartest guys that I know and say, there's definitely something wrong over there. The question is, how is it going to be reflected in prices? Okay. Instacart filing for an IPO. Okay. This is interesting, right? This is an example of the Fed's inability to control inflation. So normally Instacart is more expensive groceries. I did a TikTok video yesterday where I said, why is Bitcoin so low? And the first comment was a guy saying I had to sell my Bitcoin to pay for food and gas. So Instacart's filing for an IPO. Rich people can pay overpriced prices for groceries and delivery fees. And meanwhile, poor people are effed, right? Ray Dalio's talking about social disorder, right? You got to think about what happens and how to trade social disorder. I vote gold, crypto, and water. That's my vote. Leak reveals Elon Musk and Wall Street could be about to cause Bitcoin and crypto price chaos with a PayPal update. They're either going to adopt a stable coin or they're going to do something with crypto. I just cannot believe that people are going to go to the end of the year without a crypto strategy for Christmas. JP Morgan says limited downside for crypto near term after Bitcoin's recent rout. Well, I like it better when the investment banks are bearish, right? But as you can see, investment banks are out with strong opinions. Goldman is bullish stocks. Merrill Lynch is bullish stock, bearish stocks. So Goldman bullish, Morgan Stanley bearish stocks. JP Morgan, I don't know what their opinion on stocks is, but maybe they want to be long Bitcoin. Interesting, right? Interesting. Ethereum's daily transaction fees hit 8-month low because no one's interested in crypto, which is exactly when you're supposed to get interested in crypto. Okay. Bitcoin slumps under 28K as bearish outlook engulfs the crypto market. Non-investment advice. Okay. Minnesota in the house. Ashton, it's a good comment here. Okay. You know, he knows addiction well. Thoughts to Ben, regardless if you love him or hate him. If you've ever lived that life, you wish it on no one. And I completely agree. Jeff, I appreciate the love there. Lord Junta is in the house. Welcome. Routine Cheese is back. Hello. Luis. Rudy is here. What's up? Rudy's going to tell you all to hit the like button. Okay, wrong again. ZB looks destroyed, but is it about to nuke some more? We will see. We will see. Let's see. WB Whipple is here. Will Tobie release a deck of tarot cards using her unique and creative imagination? I don't know, bro, but you want to get Tobie NFTs while they're super cheap because art and stocks are not correlated. Okay. We're having a time when there's a mix of political opinions and nuance takes infuriates so many people. Why is everybody so upset these days? Somebody's asking about Rectember. So let's go to do some live TA. Do we have any evidence of Rectember? Do we? Crypto Clan is here. Malik, Matthias, what's up? Okay. Now here's equities, right? Here's S&P. So this is a complex head and shoulders top with a downward sloping neckline. Basically a head and shoulders top that you'll never see in the whole world. Okay. If you ever broke 43.36, you would get a 1929 style event. Okay. Always checking bank stocks. Okay. Always looking for a failed rally. We have Discover. Okay. Discover right now is holding support at 87.67. So that's support point for a credit card related bank. Okay. Now, speaking of the consumer, Nike fell apart and has a downside target of 89. Okay. There is no way companies like Nike are going to sell anything at Christmas without crypto. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Now, let's go. Let's see if I got DeMark up. Okay, bringing up Bitcoin and Ethereum. I thought I had this up here. My apologies on the delay. Okay, so let's start with Nvidia, right? Seems like the whole world starts with stocks. They're buying Nvidia on a moving average after selling it. They still want it. ETH on a daily chart. Ooh, 13 bottom. So you got a 9 bottom, you got a 13 bottom on a dramatic wick down. You know what, folks? I really don't want to sell altcoins. I really don't. Okay. You know, me and Tobie put together a portfolio. So now I can say, you know, these are the things that we own. So it's not investment advice. So we've got ETH, Solana, Hedera, dumpster diving with Algorand, interoperability with Polkadot and Cosmos, Litecoin, right? And then maybe for Rudy, we should consider putting Jasmy in there. Just pull up the chart for him because he's in the house today. Okay. Very nice little sprint higher. Just kind of wondering when the AI revolution is going to come to crypto. I know it's going to change everything in equities, but, you know, sometimes I wonder how like AI is going to, a chatbot is going to help a grocery store. I mean, it eventually is, but do we want to price all that in now? I don't know. I just don't know. Okay. I just don't know. Okay. All right. So here's a bold comment from STW Crypto. We appreciate everybody's viewpoint. You know, he's not exactly feeling sorry for somebody who cleaned up his act, went to the top, and then blew it again. Okay. Megan wants to add some AI and gaming. You know, Tobie is really interested in this NFT world. Like the NFT world has like pivoted towards all things gaming. I didn't even realize, like when I went to Sandbox's website, let's just put up Sandbox here for the hell of it. You know, I went to Sandbox's website and it looks like they basically pivoted the entire company into something gaming related, right? Even though the crypto itself is in this dead range, I hope that it's not like Bitcoin back in 2018 where all this stuff just falls off a cliff. I really hope that's not what's happening. Okay. Steve is asking for PRQ as we enter our altcoin overtime section of the show. Okay. So this is PRQ on Coinbase. Okay. This to me looks like your classic give up trade. Like this right here. It's like do 89 minutes, maybe 4 hour. Okay. This kind of down only action, that looks like people giving up. You know, the best time to get altcoins is when people are giving up. Lady. Tobie was a big fan of Milady. Just as a reminder, this show is brought to you by Tobie_Ward on OpenSea. Give me some love, people. Give me some love. Okay. Lady. Wow, this is kind of interesting, you know. So frequently what happens is, you know, as you can see, there's probably a ton of trapped people here, right? And when it rallies, this is something that I learned in small caps. You know, retail always sells the first rally, right? Don't see a lot of huge resistance here. They just sold the rally, but it's not backing off. So, you know, if they sell it and it doesn't go down, that could be a sign that things have changed. Okay. Routine wanted me to look at MATIC. I'd be happy to do that. Yes, since I'm now in the NFT world, I have to stop hating MATIC. Okay, so you got the double bottom, possibly. Okay, we'll go to MATIC over here. Okay, so again, it's like ETH. You know, you got the 13 bottom, and this is like trying to go green. So if MATIC stays the way it is today, you got kind of a confirmed 13 bottom in MATIC. So even if you hate it, you kind of have to stop hating it. I mean, this looks like a give up trade too, right? Give up, 9 bottom, 13 bottom. I mean, folks, if this stuff can't go up with this kind of situation, I don't know when it's ever going to go up, right? You know, you have to be careful though. You know, not careful, but you have to be mindful of the crypto market and what it can do over holiday weekends. Okay, 1 week from now, you got a U.S. holiday, and they love to do this. Americans go to the beach, they have their dinner, you know, they have a barbecue, and the next thing you know, you're in the middle of your barbecue and you look at your phone and crypto's 7% in either direction. Right now, you got a 13 and a 9 bottom in Bitcoin sitting around waiting for something to happen. NFTs and gaming collide. That's RMRK from Megan. Megan is a super fan. So let's get RMRK up. I have no idea why that's not coming up here, but I will get it going on another chart program. Okay, so let's get RMRK. Okay. See what we got here. Okay, so the question is, when is this down move over? Let's try hidden pivot analysis to see if we can come up with a good support point. Okay, so the worst case scenario is RMRK is like $1.48. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is maybe go into an 89-minute chart and possibly look at it at like a very granular level. Okay. So in RMRK, if you look at the hidden pivot analysis here, the big support point is $1.59. So this is like tactical. This is like pretty short term. But as you can see, right? So it's like on the fly TA, right? I'm just like doing stuff on the fly. If you look at the DeMark work, you look at RMRK, I don't know, man. It looks like they overshot. Now they come back again. Okay. Trias. Well, that's super interesting. So that's an 89-minute chart here. Let's go to a 4-hour. See if this will come up on DeMark. Always appreciate anybody bringing up anything that. Okay, let's go back over here. All right. So I guess the big question is, what's the upside target for this? If it's an object in motion. Okay, well, the object in motion has got resistance at 336. So if this thing is for real, it'll blow through 336. Okay, if you look at a daily chart, yeah, I mean, whatever this is, let me try it this way. It's always nice to see something going up. Okay, another possible upside target is 342. So it is interesting that these hidden pivot levels, see how they held on this wick down? That's pretty interesting. So let me label this for the point of view of the recording. Screwed that up. Okay, one more time. Boom, boom. Okay, upside target for Trias, 344. Again, if equities don't go down, Matthias with 2 Swiss francs, gold, what's the direction? Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate everybody who watches the show. I mean that. I appreciate everybody. I wake up in the morning and I say, what am I going to get done for my people today? No shit. That's true. That includes EAG. That includes you guys. Okay, so this is GLD in equities. Okay, in GLD, there was a lot of support at 176, kind of a very nifty downdraft in GLD, came straight back. So, you know, there are some mixed signals here in gold on DeMark work. I would love to see a reversal, right? When you see these, you see a 9 bottom and then the trend restarts, gets to its 4th bar and then turns, that can be bullish. That can be bullish. If you ask me what the direction in this, you know, I have to say up. I have such a hard time believing that the dollar can go high enough. Like, I know the dollar broke this big downtrend line. Like, I know that, right? I want to take a look at the Fibonacci because this is really the issue, right? You know, like, dollar index broke out. No matter how you look at it, people in Asia are freaking out. That's justified. Okay. So maybe the dollar has to go up to 105. That's the 38% retracement. Okay. That means you're going to get another dip in Bitcoin and gold if that happens. If that happens. So I think the gold trade is going to be a function of the dollar. However, man, when you look at silver, you know, silver on a weekly basis, like, it's just so hard to be bearish precious metals when you have this kind of chart, right? Okay. These type of consolidations where, you know, you just get, you get bored for years and then you get bored for months. And the Elliott wave on this just points to a huge takeoff, but this is very typical in markets. They just bore you to death. They bore you out of your view. They bore you out of your view. Okay. You know, Jeff is saying that there's a lot of scary stuff going on. Bavid wants HBAR. Okay. Andy is asking about SEI. Let me get back to HBAR. So I have to be careful with HBAR. Not, well, I don't have to be careful with it. I own it in a portfolio, so I can talk about it. Okay, HBAR is good support at 0.053. Let me get the DeMark up on this. Okay, so HBAR's got a big support point in DeMark at 0.0560. So right now, HBAR has been getting sold. They're having a huge battle at this number as they did over here. So the battle is on at 0.056 in HBAR. Okay, Jeff's asking about PYR. I'd be happy to help out. Kind of a robust pre-holiday altcoin overtime today. Appreciate y'all bringing your questions to the show. Feel free to hit the like button. Just as a reminder, altcoin overtime is brought to you by Tobie_word on OpenSea. Don't forget. Okay. PYR, a base, right? This looks like down only and then a base. And I'd be willing to say the bigger the base, the higher in the space. It's just so hard to imagine every risk asset falling off a cliff unless, like I said, there's some sort of calamity out there waiting, right? The calamity that people in these type of coins have to keep an eye on, even though I'm sure that maybe you think it's boring AF. And I understand that because people in crypto are used to a lot of action. Okay. But, this is bonds. Ironically, bonds did get relatively close to its downside target around 116.5. So maybe they got another puke left in bonds. If bonds don't puke and stocks don't puke, it's crypto up. Okay. Rudy says altcoin overtime is brought to you by Super Chats. Rudy, I appreciate that. And I know it's a little more than a super chat, but you know where to go if you want to support the channel. Tobie_ward. Okay, enough of my of shameless shilling for my friend. Okay, listen up, people. Everyone's bearish stocks. They're bearish stocks for a good reason. If the positioning is everyone short, it won't go down until everyone covers. Then it will go down. Okay. Crypto, whatever reactions they're going to be at the end of the month are going to be exacerbated by this super full moon. So if crypto drops, my vote is not to panic. Because the Chinese, BlackRock, and everybody in the world is waiting down there to buy your crypto. And if you have an altcoin and you're suffering, some of the DeMark work is good, but if not, I vote to stay involved. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. But do you really want to be out of the market, bearish and scared like the media wants you and the government wants you before the whole thing could turn for crypto? All right, people, that's it for today. We'll see you Thursday.